To this presentation of our iScout technology. This is our login screen. You can access it from any internet browser, whether it be on your desktop computer, a laptop computer, a tablet PC. Works great on the Microsoft Surface Pro, as well as the iPads as well. First thing you got to do is log in. So as soon as you're a customer and we set you up with an account, you'll log in. Once logging in, you'll get into our dashboard, and the dashboard right now doesn't show a lot of information at all, and that's because there's nothing there. So what we do is we give you, when you start, a complete blank canvas for you to use to customize to your heart's content, so that the software is yours and you can own it. You can set it up and configure it just the way you want to match your system and match your way of doing business. We'll get in and show you how to do that right now. So the first step really is to come in and go to our drop-down menu and go into our admin section. And the first thing you have to do is add a team. So we'll say the iScout team. And we'll say it's in Anywhere City. We're going to save that. I'm going to add a second team just so that you'll see a difference, a contrast later in the demo. We'll call this the bad guy team. And we'll say that team is Nowhere. And we're going to save that. You can add as many teams as you like. So the next step is, obviously, after you enter the information, you always want to click Save. The next step is we need to come in and add our positions. And so depending on your sport, you enter the positions for your sport. So if this were soccer, you would enter soccer positions. If this were basketball, you'd enter basketball positions. In this case, I'm going to be demonstrating football. So we're going to go ahead and enter a couple football positions. We'll start with the famous quarterback position. We'll say save. We'll come in, we'll do the wide receiver. And that's good. Two's good for now. So I click save. And then the next thing we're ready to do now is we're ready to go ahead and start entering in our players. So now you're going to put your roster in, or the players that you're interested in scouting. So we'll start out, we'll say iScout player. We'll say my birthday. We'll say number 13. And we'll say that I play for the iScout team, and my position is the quarterback. It's the 2015 season, and quarterback, we'll say, is my primary position. It's currently active, meaning I'm currently playing that position, and I want to be able to scout it. Now, what we do also with iScout is we provide you the ability to add additional roster spots. So if you're also, maybe you're scouting a quarterback in college, but you see him as more a wide receiver, somebody that's going to make the transition from playing quarterback in college to now playing wide receiver in the NFL. Or maybe you're in a situation where you've got like a Cordell Stewart type person that may play two positions or play two roles, or a Deion Sanders type person who may play offense and defense. So you can come in and say add another spot, assign them to your team, select that other position, add in the season, and we're going to make that position active, meaning I want to scout it, but it's not primary because I said primarily this person is a quarterback. Then you'll add in their height. We'll say 6'2", 225, and we'll say 40 times 4.8. We also have the ability for GPA, where if you want to put in a grade point average, if this is a college player, and you want to track the academic side. We have the ability to add a picture of the player, so if you have a picture so you can see what they look like. I'm just going to choose the iScout logo for now just to show you how that works. We're all done entering it, so I can go ahead and click Save. Now before I can scout, we have to set up grade metrics. iScout doesn't know what you scout, what your position specifics, player parameters, and critical factors are, and we don't want to put you in that box. So we give you the opportunity here to define your own. And so you come over here and you click Add Group, and so we'll assume it's position specifics. We'll say player parameters. And we'll say critical factors, always important. And so now what I've done is I've set up position specifics, player parameters, and critical factors. Now I'm ready to add in the sub-factors that we're looking to scout. So under position specifics, excuse me, I'm going to select here quarterback. And so then we'll say position specifics, and so we'll say hits a target. It can be whatever you want to choose. It's up to you to define. This is I'm just using hits a target as an example for this demo, and so I'm going to grade that on a scale of 1 to 10, or I can make it a true/false type answer. Yes, no. Either the athlete can do it or it can't. Normally, it's that 1 to 10 range, and when you do get into the grading, you can grade on a decimal point scale. So you can add in a grade of a 3.4, a 2.8, whatever it is you want to do between that 1 and 10. So we'll say Add Metric. We'll say as another one, performs under pressure. Whoops, capitalize that. We'll say that's either yes or no. Either they can perform under pressure or no, they can't. Add metric. So then we'll go and we'll add in some player parameters. So let's say coordination. How well coordinated is the athlete? Let's say agility. And let's say balance as the last. And then we'll get into the critical factors. Let's say respects authority. Very important one. In fact, I'd be tempted to make that a yes or no, but we'll leave it as a 1 through 10 for now. Let's say avoids temptation. Again, you can add your own. That's the beauty of it. So now I've added in the ones I want to add just for the demo's sake. And I've said that these are just strictly for the quarterback position. And so now what these numbers are over here, where you see all the zeros, is this is your ability to identify a weight. So it's your opportunity to say how important, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is this particular factor to you and your organization. That will then create an algorithm that will, when it calculates the final grades on your scouted athletes, your final grade will be depicted based on that weight that you provide here. So respects authority, I'm going to say 10. You don't want people that don't respect authority. And avoids temptations, definitely a 10. Coordination, I'm just going to throw some numbers in there, not realistic, just for the demo. Agility, I wanted to at least have a 5 on agility. And balance, let's say I'd like a good balance, let's say. Their ability to hit a target, let's say a 7, performs under pressure, let's say a 9. And I can say save. Look at that. Now the wide receiver popped up. So now I have the ability to add weighted factors for these same parameters for the wide receiver position. And it'll track as many positions that you put in. Critical factors, you really only need to add that once when you're scouting. You're not going to scout the character grades for multiple positions. They either have good character or they don't. So we'll leave these at 0, which makes them a non-impact on the final grade for that particular grade set. Now under the player parameters, it's a little bit of a different story. So you want wide receivers to have agility. So now as a wide receiver, how much agility do you want them to have? Again, bogus numbers, but we'll say a 7. Balance, you want a wide receiver to have good balance. We'll say a 9. Coordination is very important. We'll say a 10. Ability to hit a target, not necessarily a factor for a wide receiver. And performs under pressure. We want to know that you have a receiver that's in the clutch. So let's say that's about a 7 for me. I'd like them to have it, not super critical, but it would be great. So then we'll say save. And one of the things here, look, I noticed is I spelt receiver wrong here. So I can go back to my positions, and I can come in here and I can edit and say save. And I did that on purpose so that I could go back and show you how that works. So now when I go back to the grade set, you'll see it has now corrected it. Save the grade set. So now we're actually ready to go and put in stats. Some teams track stats, some teams don't. If you want to track stats, the system absolutely can, and it will factor into the analysis and the reports if you so choose. So we'll say for the quarterback position, we'll add metrics, and we'll say games played. And we'll just call that a G. And we're going to make that active for the quarterback position. We'll add another one. We'll say, oops, game started. And we'll say GS for game started. And again, you can make that active for the quarterback. But again, you can add as many stats that you want and align those particular stats with the specific positions. Save it. We'll say it for the wide receiver as well. Now we're actually ready to go and scout a player. So when I go back into my scouting here, which takes me back to my dashboard, you'll note that my player is now in there. So it shows me I'm the #1 ranked player in the database, and it gives you the basic measurables. I can look my height, weight, speed. It shows my position, and it shows my name. And right here in this gray box, it would show you the final grade once we go ahead and enter in some scouting grades. So we're ready to scout them. So I'm going to click on it. It takes me now to the player profile page. So on the player profile page, it'll give you the highlights of that particular player. I can put this player on my watch list by clicking watch, and that'll put him over here on the left so that I can come back to that player later on because it's one that I'm watching, actively looking at, and grading frequently. When I'm done, I can unwatch him, and it removes him from that watched list, but keeps all the data intact. So now I'm ready to scout. I'm ready to add some grades. So I'm going to click here on Add Grades. And you notice it's a pop-up screen like this. And what that does is this sizes it and fits it to work very well on those tablet PCs. So if you wanted to sit in the stands and grade, you can. If you're sitting in a hotel, say at the Senior Bowl, and you've got to put your grades in, you can sit at your Surface Pro and enter in the grades. You'll notice that we have pluses and minuses. That gives you the ability to leverage the touchscreen of a Surface Pro or an iPad by tapping on the plus to increase numbers or tapping on the minus to decrease numbers. And so, or if you want, if you're on the computer and you want to type it in, I can go ahead and type it in. So avoids temptation, I'm going to say 10. Respects authority, we'll say 10. I did not activate those for wide receiver because remember I was saying we're only scouting the critical factors for one position, not multiple positions, because it's a character grade. So on the player parameter side, we'll get into scouting them for the agility. Let's say the agility is not very good. We'll say it's a 4. Balance is horrible. Trips over his own feet. We'll say it's a 3. Coordination, we'll say coordination is obviously his balance is not so good. So we'll say maybe the coordination is a 4. Ability to hit a target, for oddly enough can actually make passes. So I'll say it's an 8. Performs under pressure, we said yes or no. So I'm going to go ahead and click the check mark, which means a yes. An X would say no. I'll say yes. Performs under pressure as a wide receiver. If I'm scouting the wide receiver, I say yes. Clutch player. Again, we'll stick with the same grades here just for the sake of argument. Let's say we scouted this player on Saturday the 7th. We can go ahead and put that in, and we'll say saved. So now, based on my login, it shows here demo account. That's my name for this account down here at the bottom. And so that's me, the scout. If other scouts are logged into the system and scouting them, as soon as they save their grades, you'll see those in here as well. So you can see each of the scouts that entered grades, and you can come in here and by clicking on their line, you can pull up those grades and see what did this particular scout grade and what were their grades for those particular items. And you'll see them for all, so you'll see the final grades. And if you remember, we ranked the character grades really high and he scored really high, so that's why his numbers are up. His final grade is up there. If we wanted to add stats, we could. Notice it's how many games as a quarterback, how many as a wide receiver. So we'll say he played as a quarterback in 10 games, and he started 10 games. And he played in 5 games as a wide receiver, but started none of them. We can say this was scouted on the 7th to align with when we entered those grades. And this was against opponent bad guy. So now we saved it. And so again, you can click on here and you can see those stats at any time. It's right there. So another neat factor we add when we're doing our scouting is we give you the ability here to add documents. So if you wanted to link things to the player profile, such as documents, highlight films, contact information, anything that you might want to align with your player, you can. So you just click on the add document. You browse to the file. It can be a local file, or you can go to a network file and just grab that file. I chose the iScout logo, say upload, and boom, it adds it there. So, and you can continue to add as many as you want. There's no limit. So you can continue to add additional files. The idea is keep all of your player information in one consolidated location and have it accessible from that location. And so now we have our first scouted player in the info. Let's go in and add additional grades. Let's say we're scouting this player now on today, 11/16. And so now I'm going to say avoids temptation. We're going to say we learned some stuff, so it seemed like he may have given in to some peer pressure or something. So we'll maybe bring that down to a 7 now. We heard maybe there was some issue, so we'll bring that down to a 7 with the respects authority. So for the player parameters, let's say his agility got better, so now we're going to say it's a 7. His balance is now much better, 9, and coordination is now an 8. We'll say the same thing again over here, 7, 9, and 8. Ability to hit a target, let's say, is now an 8. Still performs well under pressure for both positions. And we've scouted them on today's date. So now we choose save. See, so now you see, again, you can see the different grades, and you see now the final grade has come up. I didn't add any new stats. I can still add more documents if I'd like. I can put this player back on my watch list if I know I'm going to be coming back to this person again. I can do that, or I can unwatch it. If I've scouted this player over multiple seasons, I can have their grades from previous seasons here. That's set up back in the admin section where you can add different seasons. That's a little bit more of an advanced feature we can look at in more detail if you'd like. The next step, and really the final step in this demo, is really to take a look at the reporting. And the reporting is super simple, easy to use, but extremely powerful. So as you build out your criteria that you want to scout and you put your information in, it automatically gets populated into your reporting feature. So if we track it, it's reportable. So now I can come in and say position for the filters here for the players. I can say quarterback. I can say for the iScout team. If I want a specific player, I can pick the player, or if I just want to know which ones I can look at specific height, weight, or speed. So if I want players that are faster than a 4 or 5, I can say speed, greater than 4.5. Whatever the case may be, I can put that in. Stat filters, I can go ahead and add stat filters to. I could say, games played greater than 2. I said 2, not 20. I can add another filter. I could say games started, let's say greater than 3. And then I can get into my specific grade filter. So if I want, players that have the ability to hit a target that's greater than a 5, now I hit generate, it'll generate that report, and it shows me that this player fits the criteria. It bounces out the GPA like this to show you that we did not enter a GPA grade. That's just a way of identifying, hey, you don't have a GPA entered. Going back, you can, if this is a report that you want to be able to run consistently, but you don't want to always have to come in and build these filters, you can click Save and call it whatever you want. I'll call it Report 1. And I click Save. It comes over here under my saved reports. So now the next time I want to run this report, all I do is come back into reporting, I click on the saved reports, and it'll run the report. If I want to export this file, you can export it out to CSV, which is of course your Excel format, and I'll show you that right now. So I'll say export to CSV. It immediately creates it. And now you have all your information so that you can have it externally, that you can do your own color coding, formatting, or whatever it is that you may want to do with it. But it'll show you each of the individual grades. Same thing is some of our college customers like PDF documents so that they can print them out and put them into 3-ring binders. And so, oh, I clicked save. I'm not paying attention. I want to export to PDF, sorry. And so again, it now opens up the report for you in a PDF document. And so that's all there is to it. It's very simple, easy to use. You can customize it. It's very quick and attentive, and the ability to build the reports that you want, to be able to add the weighted factors, to be able to have multiple grade sets. You can come in here and add additional grade metrics that you want. I can add a whole new set. Being able to track multiple seasons. It's just a great tool to support your entire scouting organization. If you need any more additional information, or if you'd like to walk through a demo with me directly, please don't hesitate to contact us through our website at i-scout.net. That's EYE-SCOUT.net. Thank you, and have a great day.